Welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. It's a fiercely competitive world in Silicon Valley where brilliant minds hope to make billions through technology. It's hardly the place for religion, but a few in the industry are working to change that. And Skip Vaccarello is one of them. He's created a blog and written a book called Finding God in Silicon Valley, and to help the tech-savvy find spiritual fulfillment in God instead of gigabytes. And Skip joins me now from Los Altos, California. Welcome.
Lauren, thank you very much for having me.
Well, you know, a lot of folks in the Silicon Valley, they're young, they're ambitious, and they're not very church-oriented, yet you've created this blog, you know, how to find God in Silicon Valley. Why do that?
Well, you're right. I mean, Silicon Valley is really known as a place of innovation, of wealth, of high technology, and certainly not as a place of faith and a place of God. But that seems to be changing, and I've been here. I came to faith in Silicon Valley 36 years ago and have been involved in a variety of different activities, including the Silicon Valley Prayer Breakfast, which address 700 to 800 people annually. And there seems to be the beginning of a movement here in Silicon Valley. So although it is a very unchurched place, God does seem to be working in some fashion.
Now, do you step out and try to convince them that they need God, or do they seek you on their own? What's usually the course?
You know, I really don't try to convince people of anything. I believe that some of my role is to help people in their faith journey. You know, each one of us is on a faith journey of some sort or another, and it is my hope that through the events that we have, through this blog and my book, that people will be curious about faith, want to find out more who God is. You know, Silicon Valley attracts people who are self-sufficient, but that's antithetical to what God wants. He wants us to be dependent upon Him, and that's not a bad thing.
And you said that there was actually a movement going on, that people are actually looking to find God. How did this movement started? You know, how did people get the idea that they need God on top of all the high tech and the money that comes along with it?
Well, and I don't want to overstate it, that it's a movement. There seems to be the beginning of a movement. You know, I've written the book, I've interviewed around 80 people or so and seen how God has worked in their lives. And these are entrepreneurs, high-tech executives, venture capitalists, you know, and so on. And, you know, people have come to faith. God has touched them on their own, but there seems to be what I would call the beginning of a movement. And I can describe that in a variety of ways if you'd like.
You know, you said something before that I thought was very interesting in an interview. You were talking about how people in Silicon Valley, despite going to church or not, or if they don't have any faith, they have some kind of faith, but they've put their faith in the wrong thing. And so coming to them with God helps them actually sort of transfer the same level of faith to something that's a little more transcendent. Is that what your blog is really about?
Well, that's right. It's really to hopefully that people will read the stories. You know, we all love stories. You know, read the stories of people that they may look up to, admire. You know, a venture capitalist, the CEO of a company, and they'll see how they found God. And the hope is that they'll be inspired to want to find God on their own, or maybe attend a church or engage in a conversation. I engage in lots of individual conversations, really to help people on their spiritual journey. So that's the hope with what I'm doing with the blog and the book and the Silicon Valley Prayer Breakfast and other events that we sponsor.
Well, it's a fascinating book and a fascinating blog. I'm going to give people the name of the blog. It's called Finding God in Silicon Valley, and the book by the same name. Thank you so much, Skip Vaccarello, for being here on FoxNews.com.
Lauren, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Great. And I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for checking with us.